Yo, 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 what's going on? Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, and all that sweet, beautiful, wonderful shit. And y'all excuse the loud ass kids in the background. But I think the truth of the matter is when we start talking about the American bully is that there's a lack of breeding talent in the community. Y'all have seen me talk about this before. How many people can actually tell you, like, I tell you, I have some people, I'm going to talk to one of them today and I hope she listens to me, but I have a group of people that I can put some shit together. And it's no coincidence. All of these people will tell you that when they call me, sometimes I'll change their breeding if they allow me, and I know how the blood clicks. And it's not just because I'm some kind of bully guru or something. I've just been around a long time, so I know how these bloods click. You really don't have a lot of people who know how the bloods click, and then there's things that's being added, just making it more difficult to know how the bloods click. And it's just a hard thing. What's up, girl? It's a hard thing to get everything figured out. And you want to come up here? You want to come on camera? No? She don't care. But you know, it's a hard thing to get everything figured out as far as how to breed dogs when the things will keep getting added in. And there's no real bar, there's no real parameter in the rules of how the dog should be bred. So that makes it harder, because if you're allowed to obviously add a bulldog, and even the biggest registries won't question you, even where there's DNA challenges and different things of that nature, it just allows for a lawlessness almost, that you can breed dogs any kind of way you want to. And the dogs are being affected. You know, I know sometimes I get hard on these dogs as far as their inability to breathe, their inability to move, the bad characteristics that allow them to bite people and do all the other things that they're doing. And it's not something that I have fun with. It's not something that I'm proud of, but it is to raise awareness, and it is to get people to take a look at what we're seeing in these dogs, to get a look at what we're seeing in these breeds, and to get an understanding that we have to change some things. Because if we continue to refuse to change these things, it's going to be a colossal collapse of the whole entire breed, which we're starting to see. We're starting to see legislation go against the breed. We're starting to see veterinarians go against the breed. Excuse me, I'm spitting. And in general, we just see our breed being a target now. And the sad part is, if I was outside this breed, I would agree with it being a target too, because, you know, the situation in England resulted in deaths. You know, we've seen deaths here in the United States. We've seen a lot of dogs die. We've seen a lot, you know what I mean? A lot of things that shouldn't be going on in the dog community. And we do have to understand, we have to get back to where our main goal and our main motive is to make better dogs. It'll be nothing happier than me. Trust me, when I tell you I've won enough championships, I've gotten enough bullshit trophies, I'm never going to compete again. But I would love to see the breed get to a point to where the breed is successful, to where people can be proud of these dogs again, where it's not so much head-to-head confrontations about the breeds. But we have to, first and foremost, y'all know what I'm gonna say, you have to create a healthy dog. The idea of big name breeders telling you it's okay to breed a dog with a breathing issue, or consistently breeding dogs that have breathing issues or heart murmurs, is crazy. And it's even crazier when it's something that you can see with your own eyes, like a confirmation issue, you know what I mean? All of that stuff to me is crazy, and it just doesn't make any sense overall, you know? I don't know what we're gonna do as a breed, but hopefully we can get into a pattern of re-educating people on the American bully in general. See, back when we were doing it early, we knew you take a little bit of this blood to that blood, and you're gonna see this flaw maybe, but you're gonna see these upsides. You know, you take this blood to that blood, you definitely gonna get head. This blood to that blood, you definitely gonna get bone. This blood to that blood might be a little bit fiery, but you're gonna get great conformation and some size. We knew the patterns that we needed to breed in, and that's why it seems like the older dogs were more consistent and better. Nowadays, they're doing any and everything, and they can't even describe the characteristics. You look at dogs like China Boy, and China Boy is so outside of the norm, people don't really know how to breed it. It's not a shot at China Boy, it's just it causes mass confusion, and you have to go back to the point of breaking the dog down and trying to figure out, well, what would go good with this and what would clean up whatever issues he has. Excuse me. What would make the breed better? It was the same thing when you brought in Rocco blood, and not taking shots at Rocco, but it just became a thing that they bred the dogs in such a way that they tried to line breed, and the issues got worse, the dogs got worse, the situations got worse, you know. Dax was the same thing, and of course I could go deeper into some of these dogs. I just don't agree with them. But Dax was the same situation. Nobody ever mastered how to breed Dax blood. People knew how to breed in spite of Dax blood. Because the thing of it is if people really knew how to breed Dax blood, you would see far more dogs that look like Dax around here right now. That's just the truth. If you master one dog and he's supposed to be the basis of the line and he's supposed to be the basis of what's going on, the dogs would have a look and an appearance that would resemble his. We don't have that because there was no breeding talent. You know what I mean? It was just that simple. You know, like they would breed Dax to just about damn near anything, and it just didn't lock in a look. And more importantly, most of them didn't start to wean out his health issues. And I'm naming dogs some dogs I would never deal with a day in my life. But if you're going to breed, you have to know the pattern. You have to know, as my dude Danny DeVoe says, you have to know the recipe. Most of these breeders don't. They're all hype. They like to talk shit about each other. But if you get into a decent dog conversation, they're very low knowledge. They're more marketers than anything. They can market a dog and make it popular. I mean, look, in the last, you know, some of the more recent dogs like Beanstalk. Beanstalk was a piece of shit dog, but Bashar is a master at marketing. You know what I mean? You tell me how y'all thought that Grimm or Brim was just great dogs by an American Bully standard. They were total disqualifications, but the marketing was good, and they told you could get 50,000 a stud and 25,000 a stud and all of this. So y'all went with it, and y'all ignored the fact that the dogs were unhealthy, and y'all continuously saw dogs off of them die early. This is why there's no line. It's not a hate, it's the truth. There's no Brim line. There's no Grimm line. You don't see a bunch of those dogs running around that look like those dogs. They got wild for a moment, and then that was it. We go to a dog like Mr. Beans. Where's all the Mr. Beans offspring? Where are all the Demon Boy offspring? And I'm talking about dogs from a certain generation, but where are the offspring for these dogs, and how is the line being created? That's because there's no breeding talent. Because the first part of breeding talent would have probably been to understand that these dogs shouldn't have been being bred in the first place. But with all that being said, man, God bless y'all. I look forward to going live here in a couple days and getting it in and having good dog conversations. Y'all see I get ratchet a little bit from time to time. But we have to find a way to understand breeding again. Let's talk about some DNA issues. Let's talk about the elimination. Yeah, baby.
Oh, she wants to go.
Oh, you hear those kids? My grandbaby. But let's talk about real dog stuff. Let's get back to the science, the sweet science. I don't want to hear y'all stupid ass comments. Let's talk about ways that a dog should be bred. Let's have those open conversations on the next live. Let's talk about how we can do certain things. Y'all can even shoot at me and let me know, or I'll give y'all my opinion on the way that I would breed even some of the more extreme dogs, from what I know about them, the way that I would breed to them and how I would try to make things a little bit better. Some of them are going to be hard because I don't agree with breeding them. Hey, baby. Because of the issues, but we'll get it figured out, man, and I'll find a quiet place. But until next time, God bless y'all. Peace.